Hi, my name is Sarah Heldman. I am an occupational therapy assistant and assistive technology professional at the Wood County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Today, we're going to talk about assistive technology for low vision and blindness. And I'm recording this on March 4th, 2026. It's really important when we're talking about assistive technology to know that things are always evolving and changing. So the things I share today may be not as relevant when you're watching this, or new things may have come out that are more appropriate. So without further ado, let's get going. So today we're going to talk about different categories for assistive technology for low vision and blindness. We're going to talk about matching assistive technology solutions to functional task needs. So what is the person doing? Where are they doing it? And how can we make that assistive technology help? And then we're going to describe training and funding considerations for implementing vision-related assistive technology. Before we get started, I will just give the caveat that I am not a low vision and blindness specialist. I do not hold extra certification or training in that area. So for us at the county board, the Wood County Board, we oftentimes will work with our site center in Toledo, which is the closest one to us. They are fantastic. They obviously specialize in low vision and blindness. So oftentimes when we are working with individuals that have visual impairments, we'll partner with them to find the best assistive technology solutions. So I encourage you to connect with the resources in your area as well. But just a couple things to point out to you, some common causes of vision loss. Low vision is when an individual has reduced visual acuity that's not fully corrected with glasses. So I wear glasses and I'm able to achieve that 20/20 acuity. Other folks have such a reduced acuity that even with prescription glasses, they're not able to achieve that visual acuity. And then blindness is a significant visual impairment, and it may include some light perception or none at all. There's also common diagnosis like age-related macular degeneration, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, retinitis pigmentosa, and then folks that have a stroke or traumatic brain injury oftentimes will have visual impairment as well. So some assessment considerations, again, work with the practitioners who excel in this area. So having a comprehensive eye exam is important. Working with your low vision and blindness specialist is important also. And when they're doing that evaluation, they can really look at the lighting needs, sensitivity to contrast and glare, field loss, and the endurance of the ocular muscles for tasks like reading. We're really good as county board employees or people working in the disability sphere to look at things like cognition, maybe even their fine motor control. We know our individuals really well, so we know how comfortable they're working with technology. We know what environments they're trying to complete these tasks in, and we're also really good at knowing the different funding sources that they have available. So this is where that multidisciplinary approach can be so helpful, especially when working with folks with visual impairments. So some low-tech solutions that we have found to be helpful are things like improved lighting. So LED task lighting, one specific brand is OTT, and these are, LED lights that usually have adjustable arms. Some of them even have magnifiers built into them over top. I know that in my own sewing room, sewing is a hobby for me, that I have a magnifying lamp. So it's got a magnifier on top and the lights underneath, and that can help me when I'm doing really close-up work. Using things like high contrast tape or labeling or bold line paper can help folks be able to identify, the paper from the table and things like that. Large print calendars. If you're using a traditional paper calendar, getting one that is large print with bold lines. Talking clocks, and oftentimes we have these built into our smart devices now. So if you have a smart speaker like a Google or Alexa in the home, you can just ask that what time it is, and that would talk aloud to you. But they do make clocks that's all it does is tell you the time. The liquid level indicator, if you're able to see here on the screen, I have a yellow mug, and hanging off the side of it is a blue rectangular device. And what happens is inside the mug, there's prongs, metal prongs that hang off of that device. And when the liquid gets to the top of the cup, those metal prongs help indicate that, and it'll give an auditory beep that the mug or the vessel that you're filling is getting close to being full. So that can be a really nice thing for an individual to use. That way they're not overflowing cups. Bump dots, I also have pictured here, if you're able to see that. In the picture, there's an individual placing a small, round, orange raised sticker onto a microwave. Oftentimes, I will put these on the start button because most of our microwaves, the start button also works as a 30-second button. So sometimes just hitting that 30-second button a couple times is easier than trying to navigate the numbers on the screen. And then there's also phones that have large buttons that are easier to see. So those are just a couple low-tech solutions. There's also optical and magnification devices. So magnifiers are not a one-size-fits-all. I've learned a lot about magnifiers from my friends at the Sight Center in Toledo. So there's handheld magnifiers, stand magnifiers, dome magnifiers, and then the CCTV systems, which are electronic video magnification. They all work a little bit differently. So working with those professionals and knowing what your task is going to be can be really helpful. And then they have different varying abilities for their magnification limits. Screen readers and software are often utilized by folks that are using computers. So screen readers convert on-screen text into audible speech. They can help with keyboard navigation and web browsing access. So two common softwares that folks may have heard of or use are JAWS, J-A-W-S, and VoiceOver. JAWS is often used in workplace settings for accommodations for folks that are using computers for all sorts of different tasks. And then also built into most devices now is screen magnification. This is where you can zoom in on the text. You can enlarge a specific area that you're trying to view. You can oftentimes change the contrast to make it higher contrast for you. You can enhance your cursor. So my little arrow mouse that's moving around on my screen, I could make that very large. And I can also do color filter overlay on my computer if I need to. And those are things that are built into the accessibility features on most of your computers and smartphones. So you may consider just playing around with that to gain more knowledge. Speaking of smartphones and built-in things, if you have a newer smartphone, Android or iOS, Apple, many of these features are built in. So magnifiers, text to speech, as well as speech to text. So converting written text into speech or converting my own speech into text. Object recognition is a very cool feature built into some devices. So I can literally say, hey Siri or hey Alexa, what is this? And it'll give me a visual description of that device. Optical character recognition for printed materials. So this is when an individual may receive a photo of something or a PDF that's not readable with their screen reader, and that OCR, optical character recognition, will convert it into something that can be read. There's many apps to consider. Seeing AI, Be My Eyes, Sullivan Plus, Google Lookout are all different apps that can help individuals navigate their environment, read things, provide a description of something that you take a picture of. I really recommend that folks use the website Bridging Apps. Bridging Apps is a database of all different applications, and you can kind of put in what your needs are, what age group you're working with, and it'll find apps for you, and it'll give you all of the characteristics and what devices they're compatible with, and even how much they cost, as well as individual user reviews. So Bridging Apps is a great resource when you're looking for apps for your smartphones or your tablets. Braille technology. I am not able to read Braille. So again, we lean heavily on the Sight Center in Toledo when we're working to look at Braille devices for individuals. It's important to remember that just because an individual has low vision or blindness, that does not necessarily mean that they read Braille. So make sure that the individual is, that's something that they want to explore, that's something that they're familiar with or willing to learn. So there are different Braille devices like Braille displays, note takers, and even labeling systems. Smart home and voice technology can be really useful for individuals with low vision and blindness. So using smart speakers like Google or Alexa can give you audible time timers and reminders. It can help you control other ancillary things in your environment, like changing the lights or a thermostat. And it can also allow for calling contacts hands-free. So you can say, hey, Siri, hey, Alexa, hey, Google, call my mom or whoever you want it to. Hopefully my phone will not call my mom right now. Some considerations to consider, some things to think about are many of these things require the internet. So does the individual that you're working with have Wi-Fi available to them? Privacy considerations. So for example, if you're using a smart speaker, we kind of follow a general rule of thumb not to have the ones with screens in bedrooms or bathrooms because that means that there's a camera on them. And we do private things in bedrooms and bathrooms. Also, just knowing that there's a learning curve. So ensuring that the individual has a team of folks that can help them learn the technology so that it doesn't just sit as a paperweight. And then I can't stress enough just doing kind of an interdisciplinary approach and using community resources and partners that are really, really well equipped to help folks with low vision and blindness. So there is a whole subsection of the Ohio Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities website dedicated to folks with low vision. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to remote support at woodcountydd.org. And that is the email address that will go to our entire occupational therapy team. Thanks so much.